Good evening and welcome to TC Network. I am Ting Tim Hoki bringing you today's news. Today's top headlines include Kuki organizations call nationwide rally against and Biren Singh's government for alleged genocide. Center yet to list violation of ground rules by Kuki insurgent groups, says senior leader of KNO. MYC and CSOs conducted drive against use and smuggling of drugs within Moreh town. News in details. Various Kuki organizations will be organizing a rally at Jantar Mantar, New Delhi on August 31st, 2024, demanding the formation of union territory with a legislature for the Kuki. The rally organized by the Kuki INP and Kuki Students Organization is scheduled from 1:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. This is being organized in protest against what the organizers term institutionalized genocide at the hands of the Biren Singh-led BJP government against the Kuki community. The demonstrators will demand that justice be delivered and full autonomy be given, with the union territory demand being a guarantee for rights and security to the Kuki people. Apart from the New Delhi rally, there will be another rally at Lamka that is jointly being organized by the Jomi Students Federation and the Kuki Students Organization. Both the rallies are demanding that the crisis in Manipur draws national attention and immediate action by the central government. The Union Home Ministry is yet to list and convey the violations of ground rules committed by Kuki insurgent groups, say Lin Haokip, spokesperson and senior leader of the Kuki National Organization KNO, said in an interview with The Hindu. He said the Kuki groups were not secessionists. Their demand for a political solution of a separate administration in Manipur was within the framework of the constitution, and they should not be labeled anti-India, he said. Pre-May 3rd, our demand was for autonomous territorial councils within Manipur, but that has been thrown out of the window by the events that started on May 3rd, 2023. There is a paradigm shift in our demands, taking into consideration the ground realities. In May, our MLA submitted a representation to the Home Minister that we want separate administration. In July, August, and September, we concluded that SA is now being defined as Union Territory with Legislature. We have defined SA as UT. We will be like Delhi, he said. Earlier this year, the Manipur Assembly passed a resolution abrogating the suspension of Operation SOO, pact with the United People's Front UPF and the KNO umbrella organizations of 25 insurgent groups, blaming the groups for instigating violence in the state. The tripartite agreement that was signed between the Manipur government, the Home Ministry, and the insurgent group in 2008 is under review following the refusal of the state government to extend the pact in February. The state is proposing a new mechanism to deal with the ground rules violation allegations. When things were normal, these matters would be dealt by a joint monitoring group chaired by Home Ministry with participants from the state. Since May 3, 2023, these meetings have not taken place. There is no mechanism to deal with these ground rules violations. The violations have not been listed, itemized yet. It is not revealed to us yet, because the platform is not there, he said. Haokip, who held talks with AK Mishra Advisor Northeast Home Ministry in Delhi last week, said Home Minister Amit Shah wanted SOO for peace, and by unilaterally abrogating the pact, the state government was acting against peace. The ongoing dialogue for political settlement was disrupted by events that started on May 3, 2023. SOO has to be in place so that talks can be continued. Center wants to talk, for which SOO has to be extended. The state did not send its representatives on February 29 to extend the tripartite pact. The state should be a party to that. They should not contradict the Home Minister's appeal for peace, and SOO is for peace, especially when the grounds of withdrawing unilaterally in ground rule violation, Haokip said. Manipur has been affected by ethnic violence between the tribal Kuki people and the Meitei people since May 3, 2023. At least 226 people have been killed and more than 60,000 people displaced so far. Haokip said it was true that police armories were looted in the hills, but it was minimal compared with the valley. At the most, 200 weapons would have been looted in the hills. In the valley, it is 4,000 and ammunition above 6 lakh. In war, your life depends on your weapons. We are there to defend ourselves with our hundreds of weapons. Most have been returned to the police, he claimed. Who has violated the ground rules more? Ours is peanuts compared to the state's violations. The entire constitutional asset of the state is being utilized against us. That is, compared to our little guy extorting money from someone to buy pan or cigarettes because the state is not disbursing the stipend which the center keeps. Cadres have not been paid for 2 years now. These cadres have wives and children. Children have to go to school and they want us to be in camps. Camps were established in 2008. Count the years. The infrastructure has collapsed. We have numerous times appealed during meetings to repair and refurbish. Nothing is done. Stipends are not paid. What are they going to eat? A hungry man is an angry man. They commit petty crimes, Haokip said. Moreh youth clubs and its CSOs conducted drive against the use and smuggling of drugs from Myanmar to Moreh town and its surrounding areas via different smuggling routes. The Moreh Youth Club had requested the people of Moreh to stop indulging in drugs, whether it be consuming or trafficking. They first gave awareness on the 20th of August, and this awareness drive had been ongoing till that. Since the beginning of the drive, a lot of drug addicts and black businessmen from Moreh and even inside the border were apprehended by the Moreh Youth Club and its CSOs. These people were captured since they pay no heed to the drive carried out mainly by the youth club. Due to the present conflict in the state, drug addicts and drug traffickers who belong to different communities were handed over to their community leaders by MYC and CSOs after having a talk and sternly warned to stop such acts since it can lead to negative outcomes if caught again. On the other hand, the drug addicts who were caught and belonging to our community were taken to Hope Center, which is a rehabilitation center by the concerned authorities. Right after the MYC and CSOs carried out such drive, it may be mentioned that the number of vehicles and properties lost had been considerably low in the town. Thievery had declined to an extent, though not completely eradicated. The public, through the media, extends their gratitude and appreciation to the MYC and CSOs who had been taken up such length of good work and restoring mental peace to the public who for quite a while had been a victim of theft. The thieves in the town are mainly drug addicts who were compelled to steal when they have no money to buy their next dose of drugs. Mention may be made that the drug addicts took all the goods and vehicles they stole to Burma and sold them to the Phi Soti, where those stolen goods were sold at a distant place in Myanmar. Just like Chor Bazaar, this particular market in Burma sold only stolen goods brought from all corners. The NYC asked the public to support them in this drive so as to eradicate our indulgence with drugs. The district administration had once again handed out 1 week ration to the 47 relief centers in the district, sheltering approximately 15,804 inmates. The reliefs were distributed by the number of inmates in its SDO jurisdiction. A total of 866.50 bags of rice, 177.10 bags of dal, 68.80 bags of butter, 44.5 bags of onion, 109.10 tins of mustard oil, and 15,804 pieces of egg were distributed to the 47 relief camps. In the SDO office of Lamka, 32 relief centers have been set up, providing assistance to 55,565 individuals, and the following relief items were handed over: 309 bags of rice, 63.30 bags of dal, 24.50 bags of butter, 15.60 bags of onion, 39.10 tins of mustard oil, and 5,637 pieces of egg. In Saikot SDO office, 7 relief centers have been set up, providing assistance to 1,063 individuals, and the following were given out: 59.50 bags of rice, 12.10 bags of dal, 4.60 bags of mother, 2.90 bags of onion, 7.20 tins of mustard oil, and 1,077 pieces of eggs. In Singat SDO office, 4 relief centers have been set up providing assistance to 892 individuals, and the following were distributed: 49.50 bags of rice, 10.10 bags of dal, 3.90 bags of mother, 2.60 bags of onion, 6.20 tins of mustard oil, and 902 pieces of egg. In Sangaikot SDO office, 4 relief centers have been set up providing assistance to 815 individuals. We are given 45.50 bags of rice, 9.40 bags of dal, 3.60 bags of mother, 2.40 bags of onion, 5.80 tins of mustard oil, 825 pieces of egg. In total, 15,804 individuals have been provided with assistance. Zoutung Youth Club today clears the highway between Zoutung and Bukpi along the Tipaimuk Road, which was filled with landslide debris almost blocking the already narrow road. As per reports received from the Zoutung villagers, a landslide occurred about 5.5 kilometers away from their village. The landslide was in between Zoutung and Bukpi village along the Tipaimuk Road. The road had become extremely narrow, making passage almost impossible due to the piling up of landslide debris on the side of the road. The Zoutung youth clubs were concerned for the travelers and thus voluntarily cleaned up the landslide debris on the highway to prevent any unwanted accidents. The highway was half filled with trees, mud, and rocks brought down by the landslide, and thus making it difficult for the vehicles, especially heavy vehicles, to travel across it. The Zoutung Youth Club had cleaned up all the trees, muds, and rocks lying on the road for the safety and convenience of the travelers. This shows their humbleness and love for their fellow men. We greatly appreciate the Zoutung heroes for their acts of service. May God bless them to continue doing good things. The security forces in Manipur arrested 6 cadres of the proscribed outfit Kanglei Yawol Kanalup KYKL in a joint operation at Awang, Potsangbam in Far West District on August 26. The arrested militants were identified as Oinam Nauta Meitei 26 years, Taroism Nanau Meitei 25 years, Yumnam Amit Kumar 38 years, Sandes Rosan Meitei 24 years, Moirang Tim Boising 41 years, and Waribam Ibomcha Meitei 35 years. The authorities confiscated a large number of items that include, but were not limited to, 3 gun-topping lenses or scopes, 3 rounds of live ammunition, 2 launching empty case, 4-wheeler vehicle, 6 mobile handsets, military fatigues, and other miscellaneous items during the operation. In a follow-up action, police raided more locations and recovered more arms and ammunition, including 1 single-barrel gun, 1 DBBL gun, 2 live cartridges, 3 loaded AK-47 magazines with 75 live rounds, 5 empty M16 rifle magazines, 230 assorted live rounds, 7 wireless walkie-talkie sets with chargers, military fatigues, a laptop, and a hard disk. In a related incident on the same day, the Manipur police arrested 1 cadre of proscribed outfit UNLF Koiring from Haingang Makhalay Kayin in Far East. The arrested person, Konsam Ramesh Meitei, aged 43 years, was involved in extortion activities targeting brickfields. Police recovered 2 mobile phones, 1 wallet, and 1 2-wheeler vehicle from his possession. India will launch a platform to transfer credit to small and rural borrowers, catering to the large unmet demand across various sectors, especially agricultural and small companies, the Governor of the Reserve Bank of India (RBI) said on Monday. The Unified Lending Interface (ULI) to be launched in due course will cut the time for credit appraisal for these borrowers and facilitate a consent-based flow of digital information, Sakti Kanta Das said at an event. The governor said the ULI platform is built to ensure digital access to information from diverse sources. That said, the pilot was launched last year as part of the central bank's efforts to digitalize banking services, which has made India one of the fastest growing digital payments markets globally. These initiatives include digital wallets, mobile bankings, as well as the Unified Payments Interface (UPI), which allows users to transfer money between bank accounts using a mobile device. Just like UPI transformed the payments ecosystem, we expect the ULI will play a similar role in transforming the lending space in India, Das said. Chaos erupted in Kolkata on Tuesday as the Nabanna Abhijan protest march turned ugly, with protesters throwing stones at the police and breaking barricades at Howrah Bridge. The police used water cannons, tear gas, and lathi charged the protesters to disperse them from marching towards the State Secretariat, demanding the resignation of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee over the RZ Kar Hospital rape murder case. Protesters were seen climbing the barricades that were placed at the Howrah Bridge and waving the tricolour as they attempted to break the three-layer security by the Kolkata police. Visuals flooding social media showed police using tear gas, water cannons, and resorting to lathi charges to disperse crowds as chaotic scenes erupted at Kolkata's Howrah Bridge, where the police had placed barricades to stop the protest march to the Nabanna State Secretariat. 4 people were arrested ahead of the march for planning the orchestrate large-scale violence during the Nabanna Abhijan, Kolkata police said in a post on X. The police said they were involved in a conspiracy of murder and attempted murder. Earlier, BJP's Suvendu Adhikari said the 4 student activists were missing after midnight. Iron and aluminium barricades have been placed at over 20 points near the State Secretariat. Cops have also applied oil on the barricades to make it slippery for the protesters to climb the structures and cross over. More than 6,000 policemen have been deployed on roads leading to the West Bengal Secretariat in Howrah. Additional forces from different districts have been brought, including heavy radio flying squads, rapid action force, and quick reaction teams. Drones and robocops are being used to monitor the movement of the protesters. Anti-riot Vasra vehicles are also present at the protest site. The West Bengal police has said the protest march was illegal and they did not receive any request for permission to hold a march towards Nabanna. The protest march has been called Paschim Banga Chatra Samaj, an unregistered student group. The rally has been organized by Prabir Das, a master's student of Rabindra Bharati University, Subhankar Halde of Kalyanis University, and Sayan Lahiri of Ranbindra Mukta University. It has demanded justice for the 31-year-old trainee doctor, capital punishment for the culprit, and Mamata Banerjee's resignation. Doctors who have been protesting against the incident since August 9 and the left student bodies have distanced themselves from the Nabanna Abhijan protest march. The ruling Trinamool Congress has claimed the BJP was behind the protest march and its leaders were planning to incite the police personnel to open fire on the protesters on Tuesday. The BJP has, however, strongly refuted the allegations, stating they were not associated with the rally but would support the movement. On August 9, the semi-naked body of a 31-year-old second-year postgraduate student was found inside the seminar hall of RZ Kar Medical College and Hospital. Sanjoy Roy, a civil volunteer associated with Kolkata police, was arrested the next day. The National Council of Educational Research and Training (NCERT) has launched a new change in the marks evaluation method of the Class 12 board exam. Class 12 scores will include the marks from Class 9 to 11. Along with this, NCERT has increased emphasis on vocational and skill-based training. The change has been proposed from a report titled Establishing Equivalence Across Education Boards, which indicates that students' performance in Class 12 will include 15% contribution from Class 9 performance, 20% from Class 10, and 25% from Class 11. In accordance with the NCERT's proposal, students' performance in Class 12 will be contributed based on his or her academic performances starting from the Class 9 to 11. This recommendation has been presented by the regulatory body of NCERT, that is, Barak to the Ministry of Education asked for a uniform system across all boards in India. The report makes the recommendation that vocational and skills-based subjects be made mandatory after consulting with 32 educational boards over the previous year. In accordance with the National Education Policy NEP 2020, these courses promote comprehensive learning and cover topics including data management, coding, application development, artificial intelligence, music, arts and crafts. Also, the report presented highlights the importance of improving school facilities and evaluating the teachers' performance. The report discusses that schools must have access to clean drinking water, well-equipped libraries, and sufficient sports facilities to develop an effective learning environment. As per the report served, the Class 12 evaluation will be divided into two sections, formative and summative assessments. Under the formative assessment section, elements such as self-reflection, student portfolios, teacher evaluations, project works, group discussion, etc. will be covered, and the summative assessment section will depend on the traditional term and exams. A credit-based system will guide the new assessment designed for Class 9 to 12, offering each topic unit a certain amount of weight in terms of credits. Out of the possible 40 subject-specific credits, students in Class 9 and 10 must earn 32, while those in Class 11 and 12 must earn 36 out of 44. Research and community-based projects, as well as online courses like MOOCs, can be used to earn the remaining credits. In a tragic incident, 3 persons died and 2 are in a critical state after a truck allegedly ran over 5 people sleeping on a footpath in the Sastri Park area of northeast Delhi in the wee hours of Monday, police said. The truck driver fled after driving the truck for some distance. Police have sent the bodies for post-mortem. Efforts to identify the deceased are underway. The injured have been identified as 35-year-old Mustaq and 36-year-old Kamles. Police say that around 5:30 a.m., they received information via a PCR call that a truck coming from Silampur towards Lohe Ki Bridge had injured 5 people sleeping on the divider. Police rushed to the spot and admitted them at the Jak Pravesh Chandra Hospital, where 3 of them were declared brought dead. The 2 who are critical have been shifted to GTB Hospital, the officer added. A case has been registered under the relevant sections. According to eyewitnesses, the incident took place near Sastri Park's Watermelon Market. Slum dwellers living nearby often sleep on the divider. Several of them were sleeping on the divider on Monday night as well. At around dawn, they woke up after hearing a loud thudding noise and saw the truck driver running away. They tried to stop him, but he allegedly pelted stones at the locals. Just 3 days after his visit to Kyiv, Prime Minister Narendra Modi briefed United States President Joe Biden on his discussions in Ukraine, where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had voiced concerns about India's position leaning towards Russia. The call between Modi and Biden occurred as Ukraine endured a significant barrage of rockets and drones from Russia, which President Zelensky described as one of the largest strikes in the 2-year-old war. The Indian readout issued by the Ministry of External Affairs emphasized that Biden initiated the call to Modi. While discussing the situation in Ukraine, Prime Minister briefed President Biden on his recent visit to Ukraine. He reiterated India's consistent position in favor of dialogue and diplomacy and expressed full support for early return of peace and stability, said the MEA media statement. The White House noted that Biden commended Modi for his visit to Poland and Ukraine. He also praised Modi for his message of peace and ongoing humanitarian support for Ukraine, particularly in the energy sector. The leaders affirmed their continued support for a peaceful resolution of the conflict in accordance with international law on the basis of the UN Charter, it added. Modi visited Kyiv on August 23 for a 9-hour trip, just over a month after his visit to Moscow. While Modi expressed India's support for any effort to bring peace to the Ukraine war, Zelensky emphasized the need for India to endorse the joint statement from the first peace summit in Switzerland, which India has not signed. Despite India's explanation during formal discussions about the rationale behind purchasing Russian oil, Zelensky urged New Delhi to reduce its imports to financially pressure Moscow into ending the war during a media briefing at the conclusion of the visit. Meanwhile, in Moscow, Indian Ambassador Vinay Kumar met with Russian Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs Mikhail Galuzhin on Monday, August 26. Ukraine was also discussed in this meeting, according to a statement from the Russian Foreign Ministry. The parties compared approaches to certain international and bilateral issues. The head of the Indian diplomatic mission was once again briefed on Russia's principal position regarding the conflict in Ukraine, stated the Russian press release. In addition to Ukraine, the Indian and US leaders also discussed Bangladesh, expressing shared concern according to the Indian statement. They emphasized the restoration of law and order and ensuring the safety and security of minorities, particularly Hindus in Bangladesh, the statement noted. There was no mention of Bangladesh in the White House readout on the phone call. Both of them, however, did acknowledge the discussion on code. The Indian side said that the two leaders reiterated their commitment to further strengthen the cooperation in multilateral fora, including the Quad. Similarly, the White House noted that Modi and Biden underlined their continued commitment to working together, including through regional groups like the Quad, to contribute to peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. A dam near Sudan's Red Sea coast collapsed on Sunday and has claimed at least 30 lives according to the United Nations. The surging waters devastated at least 20 villages. The dam in a remote area 40 kilometers north of Port Sudan supplied drinking water to the Red Sea city. Surging waters have burst through a dam, wiped out at least 20 villages and left at least 30 people dead, but probably many more in eastern Sudan, the United Nations said on Monday, devastating a region already reeling from months of civil war. Torrential rains caused floods that overwhelmed the Arbat Dam on Sunday, just 40 kilometers north of Port Sudan and de facto national capital and base for the government, diplomats, aid agencies and hundreds of thousands of displaced people. The area is unrecognizable. The electricity and water pipes are destroyed. Omar Asa Harond, head of the Water Authority for Red Sea State, said in a WhatsApp message to staff. One first responder said that between 150 and 200 people were missing. He said he had seen the bodies of gold miners and pieces of their equipment wrecked in the deluxe and linked to the disaster to the devastation in the eastern Libyan city of Derna in September last year when storms waters burst dams, swept away buildings and killed thousands. On the road to Arbat on Monday, a Reuters reporter saw people burying a man and covering his grave with driftwood to try to prevent it from being washed away in mudslides. Both sides have since funneled the bulk of their resources into the conflict, leaving infrastructure badly neglected. The Pakistani woman accused of killing two people with her reckless driving was filmed smiling and issuing threats in the aftermath of the horrific accident. In footage that has been widely shared online, the woman appeared dazed but with a smile on her face as she stood surrounded by a huge crowd. The woman was identified as Natasha Danish, wife of well-known Pakistani businessman Danish Iqbal. On August 19, Natasha rammed her Toyota Land Cruiser into bikers and pedestrians on Karachi's Kersas Road, killing two people. Pakistani news website Dawn reported that Natasha hit a motorcycle while attempting to turn her SUV. The vehicle then hit two more motorcycles before it overturned and collided with a parked car. A father and a daughter lost their lives after being struck by the speeding SUV, while at least 3 other people were injured. People present at the site of the accident stopped Natasha from escaping, according to news outlet Review with .pk. While initial reports suggested that she was intoxicated at the time of the accident, these reports have not been confirmed. Videos from the immediate aftermath of the accident, which showed the accused looking remorseless and smiling, have caused widespread outrage on social media. In one disturbing video, Natasha was seen bragging about her influence and status. According to BOI News, she was being shielded by rangers as she snapped back at the enraged crowd. In an unprecedented move, Japan has formally accused China of violating its airspace for the first time, escalating tensions between the two Asian powers. The incident involving a Chinese military aircraft occurred on Monday and has prompted a strong diplomatic response from Tokyo. Japan's defense ministry said an Y-9 surveillance aircraft at 11:29 a.m. on Monday violated the territorial airspace of the Danjo Islands in Nagasaki Prefecture in the East China state. It prompted Japan to deploy fighter jets on an emergency basis, Kyodo news outlet reported. The incursion lasted approximately 2 minutes, triggering an emergency deployment of Japanese fighter jets. The Chinese aircraft reportedly circled water southeast of the islands multiple times before and after the airspace violation, eventually returning to Chinese territory around 1:15 p.m. Japanese officials said that while their air self-defense force fighters were scrambled, no weapons or signal flares were used during the encounter. Kyodo News Agency cited a Japanese Defense Ministry source as saying that China might be trying to provoke a reaction from Japan, while a government source said the airplane merely grazed the territorial airspace and possibly strayed off course. China's increasing aggressive actions in the region, especially with Taiwan, has been a growing cause of concern for US and its allies. The Senkaku Islands in the East China Sea, administered by Japan, have been a point of contention with China, which also claims sovereignty over them. The dispute has led to confrontations between Japanese and Chinese vessels in the surrounding waters. The group of islands, including Utsuri Island, Minami Kozima and Kita Kozima, are referred to as the Diaoyu Islands in China. The incident comes amid growing concerns over China's assertive actions in the region, particularly regarding Taiwan. Japan, a member of the Quad Alliance alongside India, Australia, and the United States, has been increasingly wary of Beijing's military activities in the Indo-Pacific. Meanwhile, U.S. National Security Advisor Jack Sullivan is set to meet with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Beijing today. That is all for today's news, and have a pleasant evening ahead.